Awesome. Now let's move on to our fourth team. That is RealKey from United States. RealKey is a fintech company that focuses on the automation of
Can you guys hear me
processing
okay?
and underwriting mortgage applications. And its automated mortgage processing SaaS program can help speed up the processing of real estate loans and greatly reduce the time for real estate transactions. And just like everyone else, you have 5 minutes. Jumpstart your dreams now.
Thank you so much. Obviously what we do, as she just mentioned, we automate mortgage processing and underwriting for lenders. So it kind of makes sense that my background as the CEO and founder of RealKey, I was a top mortgage originator in the US for 2 straight years. I'm also one of only 4 people to hold a license and originate and fund loans in all 50 states. I was national sales director for the largest net branching company in the US before the housing crisis. And my last startup was a online mortgage brokerage that raised $50 million before being acquired by RenRen in July of 17. So when I say that getting a mortgage is very time consuming and painful, hopefully you trust me, it's not just for the consumers. You got to think about the lender side of things. There's a ton of documentation and a ton of information needed by so many different parties. So you spend your entire day calling and emailing, trying to get the right item so that when you send it to underwriting, you don't get all this back and forth that frustrates absolutely everybody involved, ends up costing you a lot of money. Additionally, you want to go through and you want to focus on getting repeat and referral business. So we did research with the top industry partner, Strathmore Mortgage Bank Association. And as you can see here, RealKey drastically improves net promoter scores, the likelihood of repeat and referral business by setting proper expectations, not asking for the same thing twice, and resolving problems quickly. Now, the way that we do this is that we looked at what currently exists in the space, and we found there was a ton of gaps that were not being addressed. The loan origination system, which is where every lender goes through and takes your loan application, runs your credit, enters fees for going through and sending you legal documents, and they do their compliance. So I call it LOS. It does a load of you know what. And then enter Rocket Mortgage from Quicken Loans. In the last decade, they've gone through and empowered the consumer to fill out a loan application. But the problem with these is that once they go through and they fill out a loan application, it's usually incomplete because the consumer is not going to be as detail oriented as the lender is going to be themselves. Additionally, the documentation that they get tends to just be more uploaded, where it's more of a box and a Dropbox. It's stored. It does not actually allow third parties to access it. They don't review it, tell you what format it was supposed to be in, who you should have gotten it from, what it could have triggered, all the back and forth that may happen. So a lot of this ends up back in the loan origination system, which looks like it was built in the 80s and 90s. And don't get me started on these automated underwriting systems. Basically, it just tells you where they think they could do the loan and basically tells you generic documents that might be needed for the transaction. Not very helpful at all. So enter RealKey. What we do is after a lender takes a loan application, runs credit, and enters the fees into their loan origination system, we have them export a universal file format called a .fnm file, kind of like a .pdf. And it's got all of the information and data in there. And so we don't have to integrate with anybody. It automatically works across all 50 states. And what we do is by getting with on-screen instructions to each of the parties that need to meet the conditions, we can help them to facilitate getting that documentation through APIs and OCR, which reduce the possibility for fraud, also automates review and keeps documents up to date. We also invite in all of the other parties involved that might need access to each document so they can all chat, communicate one place, have one point of truth, and basically everything's all right there. And then when we think we have a complete file, we stack it so that it's easy to digest by underwriting, because you can imagine a team of underwriters have 500 plus pages of documents that they've got to see if it's compliant, it's fraudulent, a number of different items, see if it meets underwriting guidelines or they want to prove it. It'd be very frustrating. And these are the 2 biggest cost centers for most lenders. So we're really not only improving their efficiency, but also their profit margins. As you can see here, we fill in the gaps of what currently exists. What's great is that makes us a partner and also potential acquisition partner for some of these parties that already are incumbents in the space. We launched with $99 per month per user. That's a loan officer, processor, underwriter, or manager. We already got to 905,000 ARR, and we expect to grow very quickly. We do this by going through and focusing on non-bank lenders, shorter sales cycles. We can sell to branches immediately, grow fairly quickly. You can see we proved out a low cost of acquisition per client through a three-pronged approach. So very viable here. You see a great team here. Oracle's Director of Engineering, Intuit's Principal Design Strategist, and TurboTax's Design Lead, the top real estate business development head of sales, and also Esurance's head of marketing. We are profitable right now and expect to expand very quickly, especially into Asian markets, also potentially into other lending, such as student loans, auto loans,
Please
financial
wrap up
planning, and
in
wealth
one
management.
sentence. Thank you.
And so we are raising right now $1.5 million. Sorry, this has been updated at a $7 million valuation. We're not only using safe notes, we're also using convertible notes. Please join us and help us to go through and improve the industry.
Thank you so much. And can I have a show of hands from our judges to see if there's any questions? Please feel free to use your microphone. It seems to be okay right now. Can I just see the hands for to show the questions that's coming in from our judges? Any questions? Great, please fire away. One at a time.
Yes, Anita.
Anita, thank you.
Okay,
I see you're
so
ready.
how do you make money from what you just shared? What is the revenue model?
We charge $99 per month per user, professional user, so it's free to consumers and third parties. We also plan to charge as we add additional feature sets per transaction fee. And we also have lead gen. Somebody needs a quote for insurance, title escrow. Also, there's a lot of data that we have access to. So you can imagine a lot of home repair companies might be interested in knowing what we have, appraisers, inspectors, things of that sort. So quite a few potential revenue streams.
Okay, so just to clarify, are you charging the lender or charging the borrowers?
The lender is who pays us. The borrowers, it's free for them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question by our judges, please.
Yes.
I have two questions. One is, how do you build trust between the providers and yourself? And the second is, what is the social impact for Hong Kong?
Oh, actually, I'm glad I didn't have enough time to put that in, so I kind of skipped over it a little bit. First off, trust. One of our big principles is to remain to go through and to remain neutral. So we are not choosing to do business with one particular bank, and we have ensured that also our investors are not coming from banks as well. In particular, they can't have a particular percentage of the company that they own. Otherwise, that would affect, like you said, the trust. Additionally, as far as social impact, especially because we are able to reduce the potential for fraud and to simplify the process. What we've seen in the US is that a lot of down payment assistance programs and government programs, riskier loans are able to be provided. So it allows a lender who usually might not do these because they are more complex, but the same profit margins, to start offering these. Like in Hong Kong, you noticed that you started offering 90%. You started offering higher loan amounts. Riskier loans, and it's because of technology that you can actually go through and do that without taking on the risk that might put you into a housing crisis, similar to what the US went through.
Thank you. And I saw that Michael had a question earlier. Is that right?
Yes, please.
No.
No. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I misinterpreted that. Sorry. I thought there was a hand I saw. Okay. Any last questions we have?
I'm looking
Right,
forward to
that's it
coming
for
out to Hong
question
Kong again.
session.
My wife and my family are my dad is from there too. So I know I look Wilo, but very much looking forward to visiting once we can come out again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We look forward to that as well. Thank you. And thank you for your presentation. Again, thank you to our judges. That was great.